But the bottom line of it is this: you've been carrying a heavy weight for a long time. You've been putting on the strong face, doing the hard things, putting in the work, trying to figure out things, dealing with uncomfortable or new situations, and you're just worn out. Almost everybody I talk to is tired. And the first thing I want you to know is you're not alone in this. This is happening in my conversations. This is happening across the board. Hey everybody, Derick Van Ness here, Wealth Strategist, investor, and life adventurer. And I want to talk to you about a pretty serious, kind of heartfelt thing today. And that's the idea that we're 6 months deep into this pandemic, and a ton of people, I've been having a lot of conversations with clients, and they're just down in the dumps. They're really struggling. It doesn't mean like life's terrible, but a lot of people are really feeling the weight of all that. So I want to talk about that, express what's going on there, and give you a couple ways to deal with it. So by the end of this video, you're going to understand, how do we handle this weight? How can you carry this? How can you make your life one that you're going to enjoy and love in spite of all the stuff that's going on out there? So I definitely want to dig into it. And listen, I want to say, like, we've all been through some ups and downs, right? I know that for me personally, the 2008 to 2010 period was really, really difficult, right? It was one of the hardest times of my life, and if you've seen a bunch of my videos, you know I was flipping real estate, and I lost a couple $1,000,000 in equity and properties that I was flipping, and basically lost everything after being a millionaire, right? Really, really tough time for me, but so much good came out of that period. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the coping mechanisms, some of the ways that I learned to deal with it, and stuff that I'm doing right now that you can bring into your life so that you can turn this around. And if you're feeling that heaviness, that weight, we can get it out in the open and we can tackle it, right? So before I jump right into this, I just want to say we're making a really big push on the channel. So if you can like this video, if you like it, or subscribe to the channel, and if you do subscribe, drop a comment down below that said, I subscribe. I'll give you a personalized welcome, and just really appreciate the support because we're trying to get this out there, right? So do that now. Appreciate it. So as we dig deeper into this, here's the thing. I'm on the phone with between 4 and 10 clients a day, right? Helping them with their financial strategy, talking to them about their business, but also their families, also what's going on with their life, how they're feeling, what's in their heart. And what I'm finding is there's a really common theme where I think back in April and March, a lot of people, like, they put on their armor and they said, hey, we got to get through this pandemic. It's going to shut down for 6 weeks or maybe a couple of months. And we're just going to muscle through it, right? We stocked up on toilet paper and, and all the other essential supplies. And we just kind of put our head down and we got through it. People dealt with homeschooling with their kids and got them through the end of the year. People's businesses were shut down, so people figured out productive things to do. Some people drank too much, some people watched too much Netflix, some people whatever. But a lot of people have kind of learned what's working for them and balanced some of that out. And then we went through the summer, right? And the summer, people were trying to get back to normal, but it's been kind of tricky, right? Like, you can't just go to a restaurant with a bunch of friends and hang out all night without restrictions and masks and all these other things that are intruding in different ways with different activities. And so the novelty of the pandemic and what was happening is worn off. And we've been kind of grinding through it. And the word that keeps coming up for a lot of people is it feels like Groundhog Day, right? And so there's nothing to look forward to. There's nothing big coming up. Nobody knows when all this is going to end. We're kind of in the doldrums. It doesn't help that the election's just causing crazy drama. No matter what side you're on, there's a lot of people who are very passionate about that and care about it. And if my side wins, it means that. And if the other side wins, it means this. Or some people just don't want to take sides. So there's a lot of stuff going on with all that, right? And we won't even get into that here on this video. But the bottom line of it is this: you've been carrying a heavy weight for a long time. You've been putting on the strong face, doing the hard things, putting in the work, trying to figure out things, dealing with uncomfortable or new situations, and you're just worn out. Almost everybody I talk to is tired, right? It's like being a brand new parent or something. Like, you just don't get enough sleep, even if you're getting a lot of sleep, because you're constantly having to like redo your routine and figure out new stuff with your kids going back to school, or with your business changing, or with your own health and your own habits, or your relationship with your spouse, or a million other things that people are trying to tackle right now. And the first thing I want you to know is you're not alone in this. This is happening in my conversations. This is happening across the board. People are putting on the good face and they're smiling and they're trying to go about their lives. And some people are doing okay, but a lot of people are struggling. And here's what it comes down to. And I want to give you a couple things that you can do to tackle this and really get through it in a positive way. And going back to, and I just want to tell you the other side of it, going back to my experience in 2008 and 2009, I will tell you this, the things that I came out of that experience of just being in a very difficult space were I got into a morning routine every day. I got up, I went and exercised at the park, went running, got connected to nature. I built a meditation practice because I was under so much stress that I was forced to. Like I just woke up with a terrible pit in my stomach, and it took 20 or 30 minutes of meditation every morning to just let that go and get back to where I could be productive, right? So if you're in that space, I want you to know there's a way through it. And there's a lot of different things you can do, but the first thing you can do is get a routine. Find some things that charge your batteries. For some people, it's reading. For some people, it's going for a walk. For some people, it's vigorous exercise, which I think is always great. Prayer, meditation, journaling. Develop some sort of morning routine and reverse engineer it. If you've got kids and you got to get up early, 6, 7 o'clock, they got to be getting ready, then maybe you need to get up 30, 45 minutes, an hour earlier, which means you really need to go to bed earlier. Right? But here's the thing. I'm not talking about like cutting your sleep out. I really am talking about figuring out what do you need so that day to day you have a way to process all this. Okay? You're getting a lot thrown at you. We all are. And if you don't process it, if you just try and shove it under the rug and just sweep it under and sweep it under and sweep it under, what happens is it goes from being a little dust pile into becoming a mountain. And people who carry that mountain around on their back, they're grouchy, they're unhappy, they're not great leaders, they're not great parents, they're not great brothers, sisters, employers, employees. So you can't just hide from it forever. This is the problem that a lot of people have, and why they become so regretful and so unhappy is they're not processing. That doesn't mean you need to fight your way through it, but exercise is a great way to just burn off stress. Meditation, going into just literally taking 10 minutes a day for deep breathing, and every time you breathe, just releasing that makes a massive difference. Whether you're spiritual or not, from a stress relief standpoint, it can be tremendous to just let it go and let it go and let it go and just clear all that out so that it's not just running in your mind all the time, because it will burn you out, right? So that's the first thing is I want you to take a second, think about routines or even some basic things that you can do every day. And I want you to figure out specifically when. In a perfect world, first thing in the morning, although I will admit, and I was saying this in my meditation video, if you haven't seen that, it's worth checking out because I talk about my 10-year meditation journey and like how life has changed for me throughout that, thanks to 2008, 2009, 2010 era, getting that started. But really, like with your meditation, like I do meditation after lunch, right? I finish lunch and then I take 15 to 20 minutes, sometimes as much as 30, 45 minutes to meditate and just recharge for the second half of the day, right? So if the morning's not an option for you, maybe after lunch is, whatever it is for you, figure out a routine that supports you. If you need to journal, to write everything down at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, after lunch, whatever it is for you, find a routine, right? Where you can process energy. The other big thing is, I think a lot of frustration for people is, I shouldn't have to deal with this. I should be having more fun. I should be traveling. All this should. What a lot of us are trapped in is we're comparing where we are right now with where we think we were going to be. Like January 1, if we said, where am I going to be in the fall? Most of us wouldn't have said here because we didn't know what was coming, right? We didn't know there was going to be a pandemic. We didn't know that there was going to be all this craziness happening with the economy. We just didn't know, right? Nobody knew. So comparing what you thought was going to happen with what's really happening is a losing game. It's like trying to compare yourself to perfection. You're always going to fall short. So don't do that. Have some patience with yourself. You're doing the best you can. Now, that doesn't mean you can't look at what's going on and saying, what's working in my life and what isn't working in my life, and celebrating what is working. Maybe you're healthy, maybe your family's doing fine, nobody's sick, right? But also, and being grateful and appreciative of that, but also looking at what isn't working and how can I make some changes to get a better result so that I feel better about my work, I feel better about who I'm being, I feel better and that I'm making progress in spite of the fact that right now it feels like the tide's going against you, right? You're just swimming into the waves and probably taking a few of them on the chops, right? A couple of punches. So just know that being forgiving with yourself and not comparing yourself to perfection will make a huge difference. Every time you hear yourself saying it shouldn't be like this, I shouldn't have to deal with this, I should be doing this, I should be traveling, I should be having more fun, I should be seeing more family, whatever it is for you, I want you to let that go and be appreciative of what is working, and then look at what can you do. Simple example, if you're used to getting together with your family and doing things on a regular basis, your extended family, maybe we go back to doing some Zoom calls. We do distanced barbecues. We do things that we can feel good and integrity about. And I know everybody's got different rules about masks and about distancing and all that, so you got to do what's right for you and your family. But the thing is, like, re-engaging with what we can do. I fundamentally believe the difference between people who are happy about life and people who are unhappy about life, no matter how much money they make or what's going on, is this. People who are happy about life focus on what is working, what is good. People who are unhappy about life focus on what isn't working, what's missing, what should be different, right? And where your focus goes is going to determine how you perceive and live through this whole experience. So I want to encourage you not to ignore what isn't working, but to really focus on what is working and be happy and grateful and live into that. Do more of what you can do more of what you like, do more of what works in your life. And then the areas that aren't working, address those, but don't obsess over them. Right now, you got a lot of things that aren't working. A lot of us do, right? Because of what the environment has created for us. So really taking some time to think about, okay, what are the things that I can tackle? And a lot of times, many of those problems, if you just do a small shift, can become a lot better, and you can minimize the problems and you can maximize the upside. So that brings me to my next point here. The third thing that you can do is really to find some things that you can plan in advance. Now, I know a lot of times these are big get-togethers, these are traveling, these are big exciting things. I want you to find at least one thing in your life that you can make a big deal out of. Make a big deal out of the holidays. Make a big deal out of a project you can do with your family. Make a big deal out of a road trip or something that you can do that's going to work for our current environment. Find one thing that you can put out there as something to look forward to. You see, having something to look forward to makes such a difference in people's lives. We plan about it, we think about it, we live into it, and sure, you have the trip or you have the event or you have the project, and that's great, but it's amazing how much excitement there is building up to that and you thinking about that almost every single day and having something to look forward to, something to mark the passage of time, because right now it does feel like Groundhog Day, right? The same thing over and over. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, is it the weekend or is it during the week? I can't even remember until my head clears, right? So if this is happening to you, find those big things that you can do. It could be a camping trip with your family, or maybe to your favorite spot, right? It could be a special date with your significant other that you really want to build up to, like an anniversary or a birthday or something. Make a big deal out of some things that maybe wouldn't have been as big a deal, because how exciting those are and how big a deal they become is based on you. If you make your birthday not a big deal, it won't be a big deal. If you decide, you know what, we're going to make this a big deal this year. Normally we don't, but because of where we are, let's make this an extravaganza. Let's make this awesome for the family. Let's make this something that I'm going to share. We're going to put together a whole thing on Zoom and have all my friends there with multiple screens. I don't know. Get excited about it. Get creative. Put your heart into something. I feel like so many of us are going through the motions right now and we're not putting enough of our heart into things. And because of that, a lot of things aren't as fun, aren't as big, aren't as important. We get to choose that. You get to choose that. So get excited about something. It could be something in your business. Everybody's in a different place, right? But pick something for you that you can be really, really excited about. And I think if you do those three things, if you find a routine that works for you so that you can process all the negativity and live into the happiness, if you can focus on and identify what is working versus just what isn't working, and really focus on and enjoy and live into what's working, and if you can find something, at least one thing, that you can get really excited about getting into for the future. And listen, it might be something like a friend of mine was creating something for Burning Man, a coffee shop thing, and he didn't get to go to Burning Man this year. But he can work on that. He can make it bigger. He can make it better. And he can live into the fact that next fall, he's going to have a super awesome little coffee cart thing that he can take to Burning Man. Whatever it is for you, go for it. Find something that you can really put your heart and soul into. It will just open things up for you, and you'll make progress in areas that you've never made progress before. This whole thing we're going through can be a massive opportunity. For me, it was definitely a personal, spiritual, and awareness awakening. It got me into a morning routine so that I was much fitter and healthier. It really helped me to learn how to deal with stress, and also to have perspective that as long as I have my health and I have my people that I care about in my life, I can be completely happy and fulfilled. Listen, I teach about money, and money is a really important thing. If you don't have it, life can be tough. But what I want you to know is, even if you do struggle with money or something, you can be fully happy. So focus on those things. Some of the best times in my life were when I was struggling the most, because I was so appreciative of the things that were working. This can be that time for you. This is a time that's forcing you to change. So choose to change in a direction that's going to matter in the future. I promise when you look back on this, you'll be happy that you didn't just survive, but that you chose to make the best of it, to do some things differently, and to forgive and be nice to yourself. A lot of us are really tough on ourselves. This is the chance to get rid of all that should, right? You may have heard you're shoulding all over yourself. That's what a lot of us are doing. So let all that go. Anyway, I just wanted to take some time, kind of talk to you heart to heart. I'm experiencing some of this. A ton of my clients are experiencing some of this. And I wanted to share some of the things that have really worked for me, both in the past and that I'm using right now, to stay at my best, to turn this into an opportunity instead of just a throwaway year, because it's too easy to do that. And listen, we've got a quarter left, right? We've got about 3 months. Let's take and do the best that we can with this next 3 months, investing in our health, our loved ones, our businesses, and the things that matter most to us. Make a big deal out of them, and they will become a big deal. So that's my best advice. If you want to see my video on meditation, you can view that here. We'll just link to it, and would love it if you can subscribe or share this with other people. Anyway, my name's Derick Van Ness. Appreciate you taking a couple of minutes. Let me share my heart here and connect with you, and I hope to see you on the next video. Thank you.